All right, so 1.0 is additions to the agenda. We do actually have a deletion, which is 5.2. The new aquatic committee is unable to make it today. But I'll ask if there's any additions to the agenda. Seeing none, is there a member of council that would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda? Councillor Dodds, all in favor? That is carried. 3.0, corrections or amendments to the February 5th, 2020 regular meeting of council minutes. Any corrections or amendments? All right, so 4.1 is the adoption of February 5th, 2020 regular meeting of council minutes. Can I get a councillor to make a motion? Councillor Gamana, all in favor? That is carried. So we do have two delegations, with the first one being the Wiley West Campground operator of Carmen and Jason Roberts Squalchuck. So if you would like to take the podium, it should be on, and yeah, we'd be happy to hear what. Good
morning, I guess it is now. My name's Jason. This is my wife Carmen Roberts Squalchuck. We are the new operators of Wiley West Campground. We are Elevated Experience Camping. We just wanted to come in and introduce ourselves and tell you about some of the new exciting things we're going to be having down at the Wiley West Campground. I'm going to start off with, we are having a grand opening May 9th, where we're going to have a free barbecue. There's going to be vendors. We're doing showing our new games, our glamping sites that we're putting in. We have 2 cabins going in this year. We have 5 by the end of next year. Our 5-year vision, we're going to have a little display on what we want to see develop down there. And we are also, we've partnered up with Beehive Support Services. So we are launching our Bottles for Beehive. So we're going to have persons with disabilities. We're hiring some of them to come down and have meaningful employment, and any of the recycling is going straight back into their programming. We're also going to have, and then I guess. Do you want me to take over? That is you now. All right.
So, yeah, So I'm actually a social worker by trade, so the idea of supporting the community is very important to me. So one of the things that, although we want to own a business, we really want to give back to the community and find a way to marry those two things really well. So April 11th, we're actually having a community barbecue. It'll be hosted out of Beehive Support Services, or community breakfast, sorry. Hosted out of Beehive Support Services to sort of promote the grand opening, which is the official opening, which is May 1st. Our grand reopening is May 9th. As Jason said, we've partnered up with Beehive Support Services, so they will complement a minimum of 50% of our staffing component. That's sort of part of our, what we also did with the business is we actually made a social enterprise, so it's actually a split business. That way we can be involved in social and economical opportunities a little more easier. And so that's something that we worked on, and actually our board is built up of 2 individuals that are supported through Beehive, are part of the board that we did. So some of the things that we've changed a bit down there is, again, we really want to promote it as a community place for people to go. Camping is our #1 priority, but we want to make sure that other people can enjoy it because it is such beautiful land down there. So some of the things that have changed down there, as Jason said, we are starting to incorporate some glamping sites. 2, fingers crossed, weather permitting, because that hill is a little treacherous. We'll have 2 cabins up and running for the beginning of May, and then we gradually, about every 6 weeks, bring on another one to start developing for the full complement to be by 2021. The glamping sites do not have bathrooms in them, but they do have they will be equipped with a full queen-size bed, a mini fridge, TV, air conditioning. It has a patio on the front that is covered, and by the end of 2021, they will have 2-person hot tubs on the sites. Oh. So you will really get that glamping experience. The other thing we've also done is we've teamed up with T-Bone. It was very important to me when we took this on to really see what collaborations we could do with the community in Drayton Valley. So we've teamed up with T-Bone to, if people don't want to buy their groceries before, we can have kits that T-Bone will supply them. So all you have to do is drive down and come in.
And you pre-purchase your kit and
We will do that.
deliver it to you.
We've been working with the museum because one of the things we want to do is bring down some historical information about Drayton Valley down there. So that people that are not part of this community, they get to learn stuff. So we've been meeting with the museum to learn about Drayton Valley and how we can incorporate some of that historical stuff down at the campground. Some things if you're camping, just to give you guys an idea of what we've done is there was an old shed that we've converted into a retro arcade. So that is going to be fully operational by May 1st. We have a 9-course mini golf coming in. There's an industrial slip and slide that we have purchased. We are going to have late night pizza delivery on weekends we're going to start with.
So Friday, Saturday nights, we will,
And probably Thursday.
yeah, and Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and long weekends. We just acquired our oven today. It's being shipped as we speak, so we've gotten a food permit, and it's gonna be,
Yeah, so we're going to,
you order it and we bring it right to your campsite.
you can only have hot dogs for so long, right? Honestly, they get old fast. So we have that coming. We also, we have online reservations. So that is actually going to go into effect as of March 1st here. It is going to be live. We're just doing the final testing with Brazeau County this morning. But it will be live and ready to go for people as of March 1st. And some of the things that we did for this year is every person that camps with us gets free mini golf. That's sort of our get you down there. And then everybody within Brazeau County, if you're camping between Sunday and Wednesday, so that weekday camping, you get 20% off the fees. And anybody in the outlining counties gets 10% off. So we're really trying to promote that sort of staycation environment that you can come down there. We're doing a lot of child and family programming. So we've bought or put together these discovery kits that people can purchase. So there's stuff like stargazing. I always say panhandling.
Goal panning.
Goal panning, of course. Tell a social worker, right? Panhandling. See that a lot, right? As well as
A trail kit.
trail kits.
So that you can tell what plant life and animals walk through there.
Because we're trying to also promote that. If you're out there, we want to really engulf the beginning camper right to the experienced person, the person that wants to sit in their campsite and not be bothered, to the one that wants a full day of activities. We will have bike rentals. They will start a little smaller to begin with. And then we, because again, promoting health and recreation was really important, and because the land is so beautiful down there, we actually are going to be doing goat yoga, kiddie yoga, and family yoga.
So we have 10 sessions, or 12,
It's actually 12.
12 sessions of goat yoga set up for this year on various dates. And then we have, on those same dates, that's when we will have the family yoga and the
Child
child
yoga.
yoga too. So that it's all encompassing.
Yeah. So that's kind of our start of our recreational program, and as we sort of move on, we want to build that up, but that's kind of where we're starting. So, and I did find out I could sneak goats down there. I just can't have them live down there. They were like, only certain people would go through the bylaws that picky to figure out. It's horses they talk about, but not goats.
But that's pretty much it for
Yeah.
what we just wanted to give you an introduction. We are going to try also to have, after the campsites, the camping season's done, maybe an adult weekend so that it's,
Because we're officially only open till September 30th, and that's really because of weather permitting in that hill. That's honestly mostly what it is. But we are looking at how we can incorporate some of that land and some opportunities for other things past the actual camping season dates.
so
And as we're kind of growing in this next year and continued as we continue to look at partnerships, We're working with the library. We're gonna have those little community libraries down there. So we're working with the library. Jason's making them, but the library's donating the books. So we've really spent a lot of time getting to know who's in this community and seeing what collaborations and partnerships we can do for a win-win for everybody moving forward.
Excellent.
That's kind of our spiel. Any questions for us? And we
Well,
have handouts for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really exciting. You know, everything that you mentioned. I mean, I'm not huge into camping, but I do a little bit from time to time, and I don't think there's any reason for us to travel any further than 10 minutes across the river, because it's going to have it all, and it'll be really exciting to see how it comes together.
Have stuff that if you didn't camp, you could still have a good reason to come down there and enjoy stuff that's going on. From, like I said, there's the mini golf or the water, slip and slide, but even we're gonna have the programming that will be online. So you can go on and see that Saturday, might be rock painting, let's just say. So that might be an activity you come down with your kids and do. You don't have to actually be camping to enjoy those activities.
Yeah, perfect. Councillor Dodds?
Yeah, that's very exciting. I'm very excited for you. I love everything. Book me up for the glamping and the goat yoga for sure. Yeah, good luck on everything. That's wonderful. I love it.
All right, Councillor Wheeler?
In terms of marketing what you're doing, I know a lot of time in the schools we get booklets that have like summer programming and stuff that comes out for the kids, and so I'm not sure. I have to look at who organizes that. I don't know, Annette, is it Aim for Success? Someone did last year.
That's right, that's who did it last year. We're working with them again.
Okay. Perfect, yeah. It'd be great to get some of your stuff in there for programming ideas for summer. People are always looking for what to do, so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Councillor Peebles?
So I hate camping, like hate it. And my wife has this thing where she wants to start doing it, but glamping I can get behind. That's my kind of thing. So, but everything you're talking about sounds really great. I think it's going to be an asset to the community. Are you guys going to be utilizing Facebook heavily? Drayton Valley is a Facebook community. Everything's kind of going on Facebook.
So that's a great question. Yes, we are. We've had, to be really perfectly honest, changing over the website, there was a lot of difficulty sort of getting all that in line. So we're a little behind on our marketing as far as that goes. So our website is currently up and running, but the IP addresses just have to be switched by March 1st. So we do have a marketing strategy to go out as of March 1st, but we just kind of got a little bit behind because the website wasn't as simple as switching over an IP address as we had anticipated.
We didn't own Willie West Campground, their original, so it's been.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Everything's gonna go through Elevated Experience Camping, operators of Willie West.
Yeah,
Camping.
the website wasn't owned by Brazos County,
So.
which we assumed it was.
And we've now corrected that, and we've
Yeah.
gotten it back into Brazos County's hands, so.
But that is our goal, is we're actually, Jason will be in charge of that media stuff. So our launch is really for March 1st, is for our big marketing launch.
And I know there's lots of times there isn't a whole lot for young people to do through the summer. So is there any appetite to work with local youth groups and stuff to have a day where they come down, do the slip and slide, things like that?
Yeah, again, 100% is that it's open to Drayton, whether you're a camper or just coming down to use the facility. That includes the arcade,
Yeah.
to the slip and slides, and right? Anybody can come down and enjoy those facilities, so.
One of the things when, on the Christmas break, Jason and I came and we went to a lot of the businesses to introduce ourselves and see sort of what our vision for the campground aligned with the need of Drayton Valley. And that was one of the things that we hadn't actually anticipated as much, was the need for summer camps or the need for things for the younger generations to do during camping. So we're trying to rectify as much of that as we can this year. Probably not a lot, just because it wasn't something we had anticipated. But if you come out to our grand opening, you'll see our 5-year vision, which clearly has that. And again, one of the things, like I said, social worker by trade, most of my work is with children and youth, particularly high-risk youth. So I'm always looking for ideas or opportunities to get them involved in things. So slowly working on that, we decided to work specifically with Beehive in the beginning here. But That doesn't mean that that's where it'll all stay, and that was really the purpose of doing a social entity to part of this business, is it's going to allow us opportunities to support more vulnerable, our clientele or the younger kids in that, where it's a little more difficult to get involved in that stuff when you're strictly a business.
Excellent. Well, if there's no other questions, well, thank you very much for coming
Where
down.
would you
We
like
s-
us to leave this stuff for you guys?
You can just hand it to Debbie, and then we will grab a copy of it before we leave. So, thank you very much. So our, yes. So our next delegation is the Drayton Valley RCMP with Sergeant Matthews. And got your back. He's, I see you're wearing pink today. I know, I didn't miss the memo, I forgot the memo.
Anti-bullying day.
Well, that's, see how long you can stand like that for.
Anyways, yes, I would like to introduce to you, this is our newest member of the Drayton Valley RCMP, Alexander Lucic.
Welcome.
And if you want to say a little bit about yourself.
So, hello everyone. Alexander Lucic. I'm from Toronto, Ontario. Been living there for about 26 years, basically my entire life. I was born back in former Yugoslavia and came here when I was 2. So, my knees. Yeah, I've been here about just over a month, maybe 5 days or so. Fresh out of depot, so it's fun. It's pretty exciting. I like the environment that I'm working with, the people that I work with. The job as well, it's, every day is different. It's not monotony every day, so it's nice knowing that I come into work and not knowing what to expect. I'm looking forward to seeing what else, the work entails and what else Drayton Valley brings. I know during the winter there's not much to do, at least for me, that I can find right now, but I know during the summer there's a lot of summer activities, a lot of hiking, a lot of trails and stuff that I'm looking forward to. And then maybe next winter, once I have a bit more money saved up, I can look into skiing, snowboarding, maybe tobogganing, ice skating. I know I haven't done that for a couple of years, but I'm glad to be here, look forward to it, and hope to see what's coming up next.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the community.
Thank you.
And did you get a taste of Drayton Valley when you were coming in this morning? There was I believe our CPO was talking to some individuals.
Yes, we did. We had a taste of Drayton Valley, yes. So, actually getting on to the information that Staff Sergeant Callahan had sent out, I know that you all received the Drayton Valley Municipal Crime Gauge, which basically shows that we're pretty much on par for this year versus January of last year with regards to persons crimes and property crimes. And we're pretty much on par with the break and enters. We've had 2 fewer instances. However, as you can see, the theft of motor vehicles is up. And we can certainly attribute that to the fact that currently we have approximately 20 of our prolific offenders are out and about, causing us issues. Yeah, some of them are at warrant status right now. We've been able to, been recognized in criminal activity, so we have some warrants out for them. However, we are dealing with them out there and actively stealing vehicles. We did recognize this as an issue recently. I saw that and I was just like, oh my goodness, we are in trouble. And so therefore, we have adjusted our shifts to try and combat that. We also brought in some people on overtime to have more people out there. And we also enlisted the assistance of the Western Alberta District Crime Reduction Unit. They came down for a week and we were pretty visible, so things kind of calmed down, but again, they're starting to ramp up. The weather is nice again, and the vehicles of that they're currently liking are the 3/4 tons. Now, we're still battling the courts with regards to our hearings when we catch them and we hold them for a hearing. For instance, just recently on February 21st, our members observed a vehicle, stolen vehicle. They attempted a roadside stop. The vehicle took off on them. Breton members ended up helping us. We did a spike belt. The vehicle went in the ditch, and we arrested 36-year-old Michael Mackinac, who was arrested and charged and held for a hearing and released by the JP on $3,000 no cash. So, and that came right after the incident on February 17th, in which a truck that was stolen from Slave Lake rear-ended a police car by Seba Beach, totaling the police car. Thank goodness that the police officer was okay from Evansburg. And we located the vehicle shortly after, and it was being burnt in a field, actually at a residence. So, not quite sure how we're going to deal with all of this stuff, but we're certainly working on it with regards to the court system and everything. With regards to our theft unders, January 2019, we actually had 23 thefts from vehicles, 19 other thefts. In 2020, we had 18 from vehicles and 11 thefts under 5,000. The other thefts are your thefts of your garbage cans, your spare tires, our porch pirates that are stealing the Amazon packages and such. So that is where that is at. On a municipal, overall for the Western Alberta District, if we look at the stats between the 2020 and 2019 for January, and I'm not sure this was included with yours, but it has seen a property crime increase in 10%, so we are actually fairly good because we had a 0% change. And they have seen a 7% increase in thefts under, whereas we've seen a decrease here in Drayton Valley. Now, I hate to say this, but things are probably going to change for our February stuff because we saw a great deal of thefts of vehicles and the smash and grab type, breaking the windows and stealing things out of vehicles, especially in February here. So, any questions at all?
Councillor Wheeler?
Yes. In general, how many prolific offenders do we have? Like, is 20 kind of like all of them and all of them are out, or that's like half of them and?
No, we generally have about 22, so we have all of them out right now.
And what's more than norm? Like normally half of them are kind of out between
Yeah,
the system? Okay.
Yeah, it just so happened the way things have worked
Yeah.
out, everybody has been released.
Yeah.
They're not on conditions, and we're having some difficulty locating them, of course. And they're not just ours. I mean, they kind of go between Breton, Thorsby, us, Evansburg, right? So they're touring around.
Yeah.
So we are all working together with the other detachments around us in order to try and catch them and put them back where they belong. But
Yeah. I know we've talked before about if there's any way we can help with any kind of communications or messaging or images, pictures of people who have been, once they've been officially charged with something, whatever, that kind of stuff, we'd still love to help with
Okay,
anything
well,
like that, so.
you know, and I know that the province is looking at doing a Hot 100 for each of the districts, so that, you know, putting out for all of the districts,
Yeah.
the 100 top offenders, you know, so that, and having pictures out there as well. So
Yeah.
that might be something we can coordinate and work with as well.
For
So,
sure, that'd be great.
because we definitely, they're the same people. It's the same
Yes.
ones over and over. And
Yes.
unfortunately, like you say, it's like 10% of the population that are doing 99% of the,
Yeah, and you guys can't be everywhere, but there is lots of people always out and about, and if you see someone who you know, you kind of keep that extra eye, so
Absolutely.
it's,
Yeah.
I think it would help.
yeah, absolutely.
Councillor Ballas?
Good morning. Is the detachment at full complement now?
Yes, it is. Actually, we are going to be getting one more person come, I think he starts on March 11th, which is another person, another gentleman out of Depot. So he will be with his trainer again for, you know, the 6 months type thing. So until he gets off, probably August. Come August, then we will be good, ready to go. Everybody's on the boots, you know, boots on the street. Everybody's in their own police car. Everybody's on their own schedule, so.
And the corporal's position has been filled?
Yes, it has, yeah, so. And we'll be looking at doing some other adjustments with our schedules, just once everybody is out the door and on their own, then we can actually look at adjusting the schedule even better so that we can even provide better coverage, so.
One other question, is the COP program still active, and have they been recruiting and getting more members?
Yes, they are. They are still active. We have 2 members that are assigned as their liaisons. We also have 2 members that are the liaisons for the Rural Crime Watch as well. So, and they are still actively recruiting.
Councillor Gamana?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, talking about breaking and entering, one of my friends living in Brazeau County had a situation last week where their house got broken into, laptops, jewelry, and everything being taken, as well as a vehicle. And driving back to Drayton Valley, that vehicle hit another vehicle in town, and there was a collision as well. But one positive was that she was very happy with the response times of our CMP. Just wanted to, relay that to you, and thank you very much for your service and all that. So, and hopefully, we can find a solution for that, but it's not an easy solution for sure.
It is not an easy solution, but we're working, we're doing everything that we can, and we are certainly taking note of everything that we can, which includes using the TELUS cameras that have been put out. We've utilized those as well, which is, we're trying to catch everything that we can, so. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then thank you very much, and welcome again to the community. I'm sure we won't miss you if we see you around.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So that moves on to our decision items. 6.1 being the appointment of the new deputy mayor. I'll look to Ms. Weber to introduce that.
Thank you, Mayor Dirksen. So in your packages, you'll see the request for decision to appoint the deputy mayor. The Municipal Government Act, Section 152 states that a council must appoint 1 or more councillors as deputy chief elected officials, so that only 1 councillor will hold that office at any one time, and the office will be filled at all times, sorry. There are no budget implications for this, and there are some potential motions as listed on there. So there's Councillor Farrell Wheeler was October 2017 to June 2018. Mr. Eric Butts was July 2018 to October 2018. Councillor Bill Ballas, October 31, 2018 to June 2019. Councillor Corey Peebles, July 1st, 2019 to February 28, 2020. Councillor Nancy Dodds is listed as March 1st, 2020 to October 31, 2020. Councillor Amila Gamana, November 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. And Councillor Tom McGee, July 1st, 2021 to October 31st, 2021. There are potential motions that council approve the appointment of Councillor Nancy Dodds as a deputy mayor for the period of March 1, 2020 to October 31, 2020.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I noticed that February 29th is going to be a free-for-all with no deputy mayor being assigned, but I'm sure we'll. Any questions for administration? Is there a councillor that would like to make a motion to usher in quite possibly the greatest time in Drayton Valley's history with Nancy Dodds being the deputy mayor? Councillor Gamana?
Yeah, First of all, job well done, Councillor Peebles and Deputy Mayor Peebles.
Well done's a strong word.
But I'm delighted to make a motion that Council approves the appointment of Councillor Nancy Dodds as the Deputy Mayor for the period March 1st, 2020 to October 31st, 2020.
All right, is there any opposition to that motion? Councillor Wheeler?
No, but maybe a friendly amendment to make it February 29th. I'm pretty sure we legally have to have a deputy appointed for every day, so that's all.
Friendly
So the friendly
amendment
amendment is to have your duty starting on Saturday. Okay, Councillor Gamana, do you accept that friendly amendment? He does. All right, any comments, questions, or debate on that? So the motion is for Councillor Nancy Dodds to be the Deputy Mayor from February 29th, 2020 to October 31st, 2020. All in favor? That is carried. Congratulations. Yeah, just get like some pigeons or something to fly around, or doves. Sorry, pretty pigeons. All right. 6.2, Town of Drayton Valley, Brazeau County Intermunicipal Development Plan, which is known as the IDP. Bylaw 2020-3-D, presented for first reading. I'll have our senior planner, Mr. Matt Ellis, walk us through this.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor Dirksen and members of council. Brazeau County gave first reading to adopt the IDP at their regular council meeting held on February 18th. Therefore, the IDP is before us today to receive first reading at Town of Drayton Valley council meeting. Overall, administration feels that the new IDP with the county is a plan that increases transparency yet ensures autonomy for both municipalities and shortens approval processes for applications that are subject to the IDP referral area. And we recommend that council give first reading to bylaw 2020-03-D to give first reading to the Drayton Valley, Brazeau County IDP. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. Any questions for administration? Councillor Peebles.
Thank you, Your Worship. Mr. Ellis, I've heard from a few different sources that it seems that the relationship between our planning departments is quite strong right now. So how have you found this process going as you guys have been going through the IDP together with our planning and the county's planning staff?
Thank you, Councillor Peebles. We found the process overall with the IDP pretty smooth. There is the big thing was the referral area, but once we got that sorted out, then things have been going pretty good. And myself, I've had some recommendations for the IDP, and the county has been very receptive to those, and they've incorporated those in the IDP, and I've noticed that their IDP that they're going forward with Breton, they have those same amendments as well, and just some of the graphical changes with the tables for the dispute resolution process. So it just makes things a little bit clearer and a little bit more presentable to everybody.
All right, thank you. Councillor Gamana?
So the changes that you've outlined here, one thing I'm trying to get my wrap around, we had a few discussions about this before as well, is the referral area where reduced from 800 to 400 for the town, as well as increased from 100 to 400 from the county to the town. I'm still trying to, understand that, the benefit to either party by doing so. Has there anything discussed during your consultation with the county, what are the benefits of doing this, and why they are proposing this?
Thank you, Councillor Gamana. So the referral area for the county, of course, there was some negotiation, well, whether we wanted to, of course, at first, the hope, I guess, for on the county side was for a 100-100 referral area, and that wasn't realistic for the town, because we have a lot of assets, particularly our infrastructure, that would not be incorporated with such a referral area. We wanted to keep it at 800 and 800 on their side, 100 on our side, but we recognized that I guess they felt there wasn't that perceived equality between the two municipalities with keeping the current referral area. So we're willing to increase our referral area to 400 on the town side, and likewise reduce it to 400 on the county side, with the exception of the utilities. So we capture our utilities, and if the utilities incorporate any part of a quarter section, let's say like half of a quarter section, then the referral area would take the entire quarter section into account. So we feel overall the referral area achieves that equality or perceived equality for both municipalities.
All right. Any other questions for administration before I ask for a motion? Councillor Ballas.
Thank you. We've discussed this IDP in great detail, and thank you, Mr. Ellis, for your dedication to completing this project, and I'm very pleased that of the results and the cooperation and collaboration that was achieved. Therefore, I'd like that council give first reading to the proposed Town of Drayton Valley, Brazeau County IDP 2020-03D as presented.
All right. Thank you for that motion. Councillor Ballas, any comments, questions, or debate on this? Councillor Gamana.
Yeah, so thank you for the motion, but going back to the referral areas, I feel that I couldn't find any need, to change the previous referral area from 100 to town, 800 to the county to what we are proposing. I don't know. In my mind, this will create more of a work burden for both sides. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I understand the relationship and all that on that sense, but I feel like it should have been the same referral area as it has been before. So, and that's my thought, and that's only my thought. But so I'm just mentioning that because of that concern, I'm not in favor of this IDP.
All right. Anything else? Comments, questions? So from my standpoint, I guess anyone looking through this document would, I guess, well, probably the average person probably wouldn't look through this document. But if they did, it seems fairly straightforward. But the amount of time that we have put into developing this and the conversations we have had with the county, it's been quite significant. It's been going on a substantial amount of time, and it is part of an amendment for the ICFs, which have to be ratified in very short order. So, I mean, it's an agreement in my mind that, is it perfect for us? Not necessarily, but I think it's a very reasonable place to land for both of our municipalities and what we're trying to achieve to ensure that there is transparency, but more importantly, a good dialogue between the two. And so I'm quite satisfied with the process, how it's went. You know, some of the conversations we've had with them were probably a little more pointed than they needed to be, but in doing so, we were able to see where each other's, you know, municipalities and the were coming from, and we needed to have that so we can open up, break down those walls, and start having more productive conversations. And I actually feel that this process of going through this IDP has allowed for our municipality to have much more productive conversations with Brazeau County in other fronts as well. And so while it might not be perfect, I think it's a very reasonable place for the next at least 5 years, I guess, to continue the conversation with Brazeau County and keep moving towards having a better community for both of us. So if there's nothing else, the motion is for council to give first reading to propose Town of Drayton Valley, Brazeau County IDP 2020-3-D as presented. Your look on your face makes me, did I read something wrong? Okay. What's that? Oh, all in favor? All opposed? You didn't even say anything, Nancy. You still opposed it, but it was carried. Right, so we will go to 9:46. Does anyone need a break before we have Matt Ellis still, so we'll go to 6.3, Municipal Development Plan Land Use Bylaw Review Steering Committee, and then maybe we'll call a break after this decision item.
Thanks again, Mayor Dirksen and members of council. So the IDP, the MDP and IDP, wrong initials, lots of initials. The MDP and LUB Review Steering Committee is the next step in the process to update these important planning documents and important initiative for the town in 2020. So the steering committee is really what I call a form and fold committee. It's formed specifically for this project and is folded once the project is completed. At the last GMP meeting, it was discussed that Councillor Dodds would sit as a regular member of the steering committee and Councillor Wheeler would be alternate member. So the purpose of today's meeting is to formally appoint Councillors Dodds and Wheeler to the steering committee as regular and alternate members respectively. And we recommend the same. Thank you.
All right. Any questions for administration? Councillor Wheeler.
Do we not have to appoint the rest of the committee members? What do you think?
We're not entirely sure. We to be better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, we can.
Thank you, Councillor Wheeler, for that. I don't believe that we need to appoint them officially, but I can check for you.
Okay. So for this decision item, we'll just appoint the councillor, and then we'll determine if we need to appoint everyone else. Okay. So, Councillor Dodds, how do you feel about your name being as the newest deputy mayor starting Saturday?
Are we, what, is that the question you're asking right now?
How do you
Yes,
feel?
I agree.
Okay. Any questions for administration outside of Councillor Wheeler's question? All right. Is there a councillor that would like to make a motion? Oh, Councillor Peebles.
Thank you, Worship. I move that council appoint Councillor Nancy Dodds as a regular member and Councillor Farrell Wheeler as a alternate member of the MDP LUB Review and Updates Steering Committee.
All right. Any comments, questions, or debate? Seeing none. So the motion is to appoint Councillor Dodds as a regular member and Councillor Wheeler as an alternative member for the MDP LUB Review and Update Steering Committee. All in favor? That is carried. And I'll call a 5-minute break, which will be 10 minutes. 10 o'clock start. So that brings us to 6.4, which is our social development plan for 2020 to 2024. And we have Ms. Dreesen, the General Manager of Community Services.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Council. The social development plan has been in place for quite a few years. The last social development plan was for a 5-year period from 2014 to 2019. And it provides us with sort of a guideline of how to approach our programming and our service delivery when it comes to social matters within our community. The document is a municipal document, but certainly is shared by the community. For instance, the Healthy Community Coalition has used the plan as its sort of mandate and guidance structure for their work within the community. So because the social development plan finished up in December of 2019, the Community Services Department set out the task to update the social development plan. It was done in-house. It was not a requirement to go out to the community in an exhaustive process or to bring in consultants. So as an update, very much so, we just simply communicated with the organizations that we have a regular communication with. One thing that I want to highlight within this plan for the next 5 years is that previous years of the plan, we've identified all the actions, but we wanted to celebrate the good things that are happening within the community. So we've included within the next 5-year plan the number of actions and initiatives that have been ongoing and the successes that we've seen, so that there is motivation within the community and within our department to keep on driving forward to those objectives within the plan. So the plan is being presented for council for its review and consideration.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions for administration? Who actually put this document together? It's very well put together.
In terms of the printing and the composition, that would be Cora Appleby.
Oh, wow.
As far as content, that was mainly myself, but with the help of my administrative staff.
Yeah, excellent. Well, tell her a good job next time you see her. Any other questions? So this document is an update of the previous one that we had. And so kind of reading through it, we have some of the actions, some of the successes that we've seen. So when you put this document together, were we kind of just taking the older one, maybe updating a few pieces, or is it kind of, or does it starting from scratch, or was it kind of a, already 80% there, then let's make a few changes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it's basically taking a look at the old one to say, are those action steps still valid for the next 5-year period? And a lot of them were still certainly valid for the next 5-year period. The difference, of course, is just recognizing the successes. So that would be a complete new part of the social development plan, is what has been going well.
Perfect. All right. Is there a councillor that would like to make a motion on this? Not everyone at once. No, Councillor Wheeler.
I move that council adopt the 2020 to 2024 social development plan as presented.
Excellent. And if Councillor Wheeler didn't find any spelling mistakes in it, then I'm very assured that there is no. Councillor Wheeler, or sorry, not Councillor, Councillor Peebles.
I got you. I'm totally fine with the motion. What would be the difference ramification-wise between accepting it as information and accepting it as, well, adopting it as a plan?
Thank you, Councillor Peebles. With respect to as information only is then it's something that's not an official document of the town of Drayton Valley. As an adopted plan, it means that we can recognize it within any grant applications, any proposals that we do, saying that our council has endorsed the plan moving forward. As information only, we can still refer to it in the sense that our council was presented with this document and still can be used as a guiding document. I know a lot of times people will think that it commits council to extend its resources when it's an adopted plan, but that is still within the decision-making realm of council.
Okay. Councillor Gamana.
Thank you, Councillor Peebles, for that question. Remind me of another question. So I've read through the document, and there's transportation is one point there. Other transportation means in sense of public transport we can have in our community, and I didn't see that in the document here. So we are still in the young age of looking at it. So if this is adopted today, is that something that we can add later when we know that where we are going with that?
Thank you, Councillor Gamana. As a guideline, it is just that, a guideline. Any initiative that, if council wanted to take an initiative starting tomorrow that is not recognized within this plan, doesn't stop council or administration from moving forward on that. We recognize that transportation is, of course, an issue. So without getting specific, it's one of those things that we can continue on. So yes, it's a fluid document. It's meant to be a fluid document. And just because it's listed as adopted or accepted as information does not restrict any of that from happening.
All right. So the motion is to adopt it. If anyone wants to make an amendment to that, they can, but if not, and if there's no other comments, questions, or debate, I will ask the question for the motion that council adopt the 2020-2024 Social Development Plan as presented. All in favor? That is carried. And that moves us to 6.5, which is the next steps for Partners in Climate Protection Program, which is the PCP Milestone Framework. And I'll ask Ms. Isa.
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council. I know it's a bit of a mouthful reading this whole thing. Well, basically what we have done so far is we have achieved milestone 1 of the PCP milestone program. And we are, well, basically today I want to ask if we would like to go ahead with milestones 2 and 3. From milestone 1, we have prepared the report, the energy emissions report. You should have it as part of your package today. And I have also, based on our discussions during the JMP meeting, prepared a separate document just focusing on the street lights. I hope you guys found it in your package. Okay. Yes. So just some highlights from the report itself. We have found out that our energy use is high. We are spending quite a bit just on gas, electricity, and our fuel. And right now, just moving forward, we want to know, it's a good time to gauge what does the community feel about this? What kind of actions they will support, what kind of information they need to become better energy stewards. And that is where we want to go ahead. We want to have a public engagement campaign moving forward. It will take about a couple of months, and by the end of it, we'll have a better understanding, not just how administration feels, not just how council feels, but how the community as a whole feels about what kind of things we want to do in the future. And this document that we will produce, the Local Energy Stewardship Plan, another huge mouthful there, it will guide our efforts for the next 10 years. So I would like to put a lot of thought into this. I would like to put a lot of a lot of what kind of things the community wants in it. We want to make sure it's a holistic document, and that is why we want to go ahead with this. The third item that I wanted to also put forward is that, as you can see from the document, it just covers 2015 up to 2018. We haven't done 2019 yet. So that is also another next step. We can now start collecting data for 2019. And I have done some, that's why I can give you that document on the streetlights. But do we want to move ahead with that? So that is where I would like to ask council approval and also council support moving forward. Can we move ahead with all of these items?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And just a bit of pretext. So the energy program coordinator, just more for the media in the room, is a mostly grant-funded position within the town of Drayton Valley that's looking at our energy usage on a fairly large scale and looking at different opportunities to help reduce our energy usage as a community. And certainly for us, we're looking at it as a positive in terms of if you use less energy, it's costs the community less. And so that's really where a lot of this is headed and where it's going is, obviously being good stewards to the environment, but also looking at a monetary benefit to our community and how can we help ourselves and our residents to be more efficient in what we do. So the first part that was just presented to us was a lot of the background information to kind of get those baselines for moving forward. I mean, if you didn't know where you were, you're not going to know where you're going. So that's essentially the information that's being presented here. And depending on where this goes, it will lead us into the next step, as was pointed out, which will look at, okay, now that we know where we're at, kind of a baseline, what can we do to help reduce our costs and reduce our energy footprint as a community. So that's just a little bit of the background for anyone in the room that might be so interested. Other than that, any questions for administration? Councillor Peebles?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. With moving forward with the other milestones, is the intention that you're just going to continue with the rest of the milestones, or are we taking on a couple and bringing it back for another motion, or is this just I've done the assessment, do I have permission to move forward?
Yeah, we want to know, do we want to move forward with the next two? No. Good to know.
Yep. Any other questions? All right. Is there a councillor that would like to make a motion? Councillor Wheeler. Thank you.
I move that council direct administration to proceed with the next steps of the PCP milestone framework, which includes 1, to upload the energy and emissions inventory report 2015 to 2018 to the Town of Drayton Valley website. 2, to start public engagement activities. 3, for each recommendation to identify emissions reduction potential, high-level resources requirements, and timelines for implementation. And 4, to start data collection and analysis for 2019 inventory.
Thank you for that. Any comments, questions, or debate? Councillor Peebles.
Yeah, more of a comment, and this one's kind of for Aisha, is what I've really appreciated throughout this whole process is how I know climate change in an oil town can be a bit of a polarizing topic. I like that you've had a real emphasis on being a good steward. That's really what it is, and the savings and just some of the education pieces. So I appreciate the way you've approached this, because some may not have approached it as well as you did. So thank you for your work on this.
Thank you, Councillor Peebles. Some of that did come from you, all this advice, so it really helped me, well, just compose a good strategy moving forward. So thank you for that as well.
Anything else? All right. Yeah, so as Councillor Peebles mentioned, it can be a very polarizing conversation, and we want to make sure that the conversation isn't polarizing, so we can move forward in a productive manner to find benefits for everyone in our community. So I'm not going to read out the whole motion because it's kind of long, but everyone knows what the motion was? All right, all in favor? That is carried. And that is the end of our decision items. So we move to 7.0, which is department reports. And we'll start with 7.1, planning and development.
Long time no see.
Yes.
Planning and development, our MDP and LUB review. Of course, we discussed the steering committee earlier today. Some more specifics on that project. The population projections are complete. ISL, our consultant, is reviewing our background documents. They provided a kind of a preliminary gap analysis of our current planning framework. The steering committee orientation and a SWOT analysis will be held next week on March 4th. And we'll be discussing our community engagement materials with ISL very shortly. Planning and Development collaborates with TELUS, Engineering, IT, and the RCMP if we get requests for footage on that project. We held an engagement session earlier this week with a representative from AER, so they can discuss with our newer administration members about what they do and how they can help us and how we can help them. The IDP, of course, received first reading earlier this morning, and of course, we have our day-to-day duties with assisting the public with inquiries, and as well, it's business license renewal season right now, so we're issuing a lot of business license renewals. So that's planning and development for this council meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ellis? All right, thank you very much, sir. 7.2, Engineering and Capital Projects Update. Ms. Weber?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I got a briefing yesterday. So first on the raw water pump, we're still working through some system issues with the raw water pump and working closely with the consultant on that. On the 18th Ave and Sunrise Pond tender that's been put out, the extension date has been extended to March 5th. There were a lot of questions from potential candidates that had put tenders in, so we felt that we would extend that deadline just to provide some more details on the project for those that are considering. So that's done, and there's already been discussions with Parkway on the process and the strategy for starting the brushing on the 62nd Street or Range Road 75 capital plan from last year to get that going right away. They anticipate within the next couple of weeks that they'll start doing that so that we can get going with our spring activities as soon as possible. Public Works is working on their brushing strategy, or not their brushing strategy, their, of course I can't think of it, like to clean the sidewalks, clean the roads. They're already working through that process. Yes, they're already working through that process in terms of engagement with consultants and how they're going to strategize equipment. So that's already well underway with our team there. And that's all I have for updates for engineering.
All right.
Do you have any
questions for Ms. Weber on the engineering and capital project update? Nope.
Thank you.
7.3, Community Services and FCSS. Ms. Dreesen?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor, Council. So a few things to report on. Last council meeting, the council approved the Recreation Fee Assistance Program, and we're able to get that program rolled out. And yes, we've already received an application. So we know it's going to be well utilized. Working, of course, on finalizing the operating and capital budgets before the final budgets are approved. And of course, this has to do with any adjustments that we're having to make because of government announcements. And we'll see if there's anything further coming after tomorrow's budget comes down. The capital projects planned for this summer, working on, of course, looking at the upgrades to the RV campground in terms of the Wi-Fi service as well as the shower facility. This afternoon, I'll be presenting some information on playground and park revitalization. The aquatic facility in terms of the ICIP grant, we're hoping that by the end of next week that we'll have the climate lens assessment completed. That will be the last step that we have to do to get the ICIP federal portion completed. We're also working with the Drayton Valley National Swim Club because they're still waiting for word on their CFAP application for the aquatic facility. And I've also been lending some of my assistance to the community group that's looking at doing a fair amount of grant writing for the proposed aquatic facility. A couple of individuals in that group are well set out to just, I think, start rolling those grant applications through. One of the things, too, is that they're also working on a proposed sponsorship package that if this project does proceed, that it is something they'll bring forward to council for consideration and approval. And of course, the affordable housing in terms of the issues that we've been having with some of the moisture issues in the affordable housing units at Cadence Court. Again, looking at that capital project as well. Very quickly with some of the other places, the pool, of course, has opened up its summer programs. 7 weeks of programming through July and August. So last year was the first time that they hosted the programs, ran very well. So we're looking to a good response again this year. And with that, they'll also be part of the community registration night, which is March the 16th at the Mackenzie Conference Center. So again, that's for a lot of the summer programs and summer activities for the nonprofit groups. And just want to, again, tip my hat to the Eagle Point Blue Rapids Parks Council. What a fantastic family day again. I mean, the weather certainly cooperated. Standing out there for 6 hours was a lot easier this year than it was last year. But again, thank you to that organization for the work that they've done and to our own local resources and Public Works for pulling together what needed to be pulled together. That's my report.
All right, thank you very much for that. Any questions? Nope. Councillor Gamana.
Not just a question, but compliment, I had the opportunity to attend the family day and it was a great event and there was lots of families and children enjoying that event. So thank you very much for the organizers.
All right. Thank you. We'll move on to 7.4, which is emergency services. I was going to say Tom Thompson's not here. Murray. Mr. Gallivan, how are you?
Good, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm obviously filling in for Chief Thompson for delivering the stats for January for the emergency services. January was pretty much on par from last year. We were called out 22 times in the month of January. The breakdown is we attended 4 fire calls, which were a variety of different ones. One in the town of Drayton Valley for a camper fire. Was believed to be an arson fire. Just a camper in the back alley. Another one was a grader out on the Whitecap Road, which is way out west. And 2 others were a pickup truck and a semi-truck tractor that was on fire. Moving on to motor vehicle collisions, we attended 3 in the month of January. 1 was a fatality. 2 of them were responded to by the town of Drayton Valley Fire Department. The other one was from Breton. Alarm calls, we saw 11 in the month of January. 5 residential, single-family homes. Some of them were false alarms that we didn't actually attend. They were stood down before we left the station. 1 was a commercial a false alarm. It was primarily due to the cold weather. Someone noticed a fire in a air exchange unit on a commercial building and thought it was a fire. Turned out to be a false alarm. 2 apartment ones, 1 seniors complex, 1 at the hospital, and 1 at the sportsplex, Omniplex. All turned out to be false alarms. Moving along, assisting other agencies, and that's primarily EMS calls, so medical situations. And 3 of those. And then 1 miscellaneous was a complaint about a fire pit on a deck, but it turned out to be a propane fire pit, which is allowed and safe, but it was a concerned neighbor. That's our stats for January. Just things that we are currently working on or doing right now is we're in the middle of our recruitment. So we've been recruiting since January, but now we're going through the process of interviews. So we've got 3 people, potential people, coming into our department. March will also see us preparing for wildland season, grass fire season, that type of thing. So preparing equipment and reviewing our training. And that's my report.
Excellent. Any questions? Councillor Wheeler?
Yeah, the boss is away, so like off the record, but it's not really off the record. How is the team doing?
The team is doing just fine.
Good.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much for that. I do believe we have under emergency services, is it Mr. Clausen or just Mr. Hutchinson that will be giving a report? Or both?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
May as
I
well
would
come
like
on
both.
down anyway. The more the merrier. Like Oprah, you get a report, you get a report, you get a report.
Good morning. I'll give you the report for Protective Services, but we brought Officer Hutchinson along again, so he has a little bit more exposure to council, and if there's any questions you would like to ask him based on what he's up to.
Okay.
So for Protective Services, finally we can give you guys reports. In the month of January, we had 26 calls for service. They were based on mostly on parking issues and information for that month. There were 12 citations written, 9 of them for traffic resulting in fines, which is different, and it's well, we can let Colton talk to that. For February to date, Colton's already responded to 21 calls for service, but a lot of them are relating to unsightly properties now. So we're being able to deal with that. We are working together with Public Works on some of the snow issues. We have a lot of concerns with sidewalks and with residents clearing the snow from their driveways onto the roads, which makes it quite cumbersome for snow removal and a big safety issue. So most likely starting in 2 weeks, they have little door hangers that they're going to be putting out. Public Works that are seeing this all the time will be placing them out there for warnings and information, and then keeping track of that, and then Colton will be able to follow up on that. And hopefully we can get that under control for a little bit. On the animal control for January, there was 15 animals brought into cause for critters that they had to look after. For emergency management, Matt and I have both attended some training, required training under the new legislation, and we're working on developing the training plan for the rest of the staff here. And on safety, we have, you guys met Shauna at the last meeting, and she's actually concentrating on contractor management so that we have all of our required duties done for safety and managing the contractors that come in and help us on a daily basis, and then also getting ready for the construction season so that we can ensure that our safety items are all looked after. And we are working on the training plan for the summer staff that are coming on, most likely starting in April, some of them. And that's the report. And if you have any questions for Colton.
Have them at the ready. Any questions? Councillor Ballas, you seem like you would have a question. Oh, wow. All right.
How's it going? You know, you've been in the community for a little while.
Mayor, council members, sorry, I couldn't quite hear your question as I was shuffling along there.
How's it going?
Good. In my opinion, I think it's going along great. It's been a lot of really good responses from the community as well, having me out there and being able to answer questions related to anything. Sometimes things don't require fines, they just need information purposes, and I think we're getting a really good feedback from the community in and of itself, so I'm just happy to be out there and driving around, so.
All right. A lot of speeders out there, a lot of punks you had to pull over, or? It's subjective.
Not all of them are young.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? All right. Any other questions for Mr. Hutchinson while he is up there? Councillor Peebles?
Over here, so.
I tried not to, but.
Yeah. Just a question, Merlin, with notices. So I feel like those aggressive light of 1,000 sun orange signs that we put on people's door if their water utility is coming up or whatever is abrasive, to say the least. It's almost like the small town equivalent of getting pulled over. You know what I mean? It's anyway. So with the sidewalks, are we going to flash some big old bright orange signs on people, or is it just a notice of, hey, can you ice or de-ice? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the door hanger signs are very effective, and I know what you're saying with the color. The color that they have chosen to go with for the sidewalk and snow removal is the purple one. So I don't know. Purple is a bit of a royal color, so it's just a royal reminder.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, Councillor Wheeler?
I guess in general, as we are switching seasons, is there kind of any information pieces that you're putting together? If there's things that you're really seeing, like now that it's melting, everyone really needs to shovel their sidewalk. Is there stuff we can work on with communications, maybe to be advertising more of getting 1,000 phone calls on something rather than you having to repeat the information 1,000 times?
Yeah, actually, and so we developed along with the assistance of Cora Appleby as well, we've created 2 different forms of notices that are actually mail form that can be put in envelopes. One is a warning saying in regards to that your sidewalk is unkept, and then it goes through what the actual bylaws are, and it talks about what the potential fines are. And so then they can see that and they have it at home and stuff like that as just a reminder. And then if it happens again and stuff like that, or it's just continued to be unkept, we have one that's actually a final notice that is then given to them as well, whether it all be in person or through the mail, that then says, if this isn't remedied, these are the fines that will be issued moving forward. And then if within 24 hours, if it hasn't been remedied, then fines are then issued in that regard. But and now is a 2-stage system of an actual mail system as well, or in-person letter that can be given, and it's just a notice to residents in that regard.
We put like that first kind of notice information on our website though at all, like just general information. Lots of people might shovel their sidewalk, but might not actually know what's required. And I'm just thinking, rather than when we're having an incident, just in general, that's all.
I know at the beginning of the season, we did work really closely with our internet department as well, and they put it out there in regards to making sure and ensuring that your sidewalks are clean, and what the potential risks and hazard are of that, not just in the fine sense, but also the slip, trip, and fall hazard that it presents anyways, just to keep all the members of the community safe to the best of our abilities. So I know that had been done at the beginning of the season, and then moving forward, we just then created the paper trail of it as well, just so that because we do know that we do have some residents in town that are not on social media, and so as a way to work closely with everybody, because social media is not always everybody's cup of tea, we do have that paper form as well to give to them, so then everybody is in some form of compliance and has a way of understanding how we would like to impose our bylaws.
And just further to that, Mr. Mayor, with the new door hangers for the snow removal, we have been working with communications, and when we're ready to implement it, Jen and her crew will be putting it on Facebook and the webpage and explaining it and showing them what it is, and then also the hazards behind it and why we need their assistance.
Councillor Ballots?
Do you have radio communications with the RCMP yet? And if not, are there plans to do so?
So moving forward right now, so for me, I have a way of getting a hold of them if needed. But right now they're working on a completely different radio system on their own, which then needs to be, conversation needs to be had with us from them once they're done that pilot program and then moving forward.
I can add a little bit to that. The RCMP have fully moved over to the AFRAC system, and they've encrypted all their channels. The Justice and SolGen Department have worked with them, and currently in Grand Prairie and the city of Lacombe, they are doing a pilot program where they've allowed them, the CPOs, access onto one of the talk channels with the RCMP. And they're seeing how that's going to work. They have some concerns. And then as soon as that is finished, they anticipate that by the end of the year, it should be opened up to all CPO programs so that we can have a channel with the RCMP for direct communications rather than just cell phones.
All right. Thank you very much for that. If there's no other questions, we will move on to 7.5, which is our CAO administration with Ms. Weber.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I would like to call Jen up just to give an update on our communications to date.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Just a very quick update about our alumni hockey game that's coming up at the end of March, just for the benefit of our press that's in the room. So the event is going to be March 28th. We are selling tickets here. A few of our councilors and some of our staff have tickets that they're selling. And we're also having a tailgate party that's going to be just ahead of the game, and there's going to be food and activities for the kids and stuff like that. We're encouraging the public to come out to this and really get behind this. The proceeds from this event are going to support the Zero Fee program. That's a new initiative we have in the community, and it's supporting our local and domestic students and mature learners get the education that they might not otherwise be able to have the opportunity to have. So this is a very worthwhile cause. If anybody's interested, we do have tickets here.
All right. Councillor Dodds.
And just to add that it is a family event, both the tailgate party and the game.
Thank you for that, Councillor Dodds. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. So I only have two updates. First of all, I would like to mention that we have a new human resource professional that has joined our team. She can't be in chambers today because she's tied up doing interviews as Ainsley is away sick. But I will bring her, make sure she's in council next month so that you can see her and say hello and be introduced. She started Monday, and so far she's a little bit overwhelmed, but she's got 6 interviews to get through today, so that'll be a great test for her. The other great update I wanted to provide is that the Evergreen Gas Co-op franchise agreement has been approved now through the Alberta Utilities Commission, and so it had already come to council through first reading, and then it had to go to the commission for approval. It has been approved as of late January, so you will see this item come back for second and third reading in March. And that's all I have for an update. Is there any questions for me?
Any questions? All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on to council reports with Councillor Wheeler.
I have nothing to report at this time. Just been doing council meetings and GMP meetings and economic development, so.
All right, Councillor Ballas.
Ditto, I'll defer my report to the next meeting.
All right, we're off to a hot start. And possibly for the last time in his life, Deputy Mayor Peebles.
That is very accurate, very accurate. I was going to say I don't have anything to report either, but now I feel like I have to say something. I was in Bolivia for the FCM exchange from February 1st to this 12th.
I could see how you would have forgotten about that.
No, but with our CAO gone, I think together we're going to put together a report and present it to council when he returns. It was really great trip. very receptive welcome from the community Montero and Bolivia, but we'll put pictures and information and details together. But it was an interesting trip for sure. And attended the Fire and Ice thing, and I just want to say kudos. What a great event. It was a lot of fun. My kids are obsessed with the Ice Queen. They just followed her around the whole time. Because we like, us people's boys like our girls cold as ice. So, other than that, that's all I have to report this time.
Hiya. Councillor Dodds.
Okay, I will start with, we have done a couple interviews for the Zero Fee Initiative, and one was the Free Press, and a second one was with RHPAP. So that's very exciting because we are getting the word out and exposure of what the Zero Fee tuition program is all about and the future and what that looks like. So that's really quite exciting. We've been meeting with Norquest on several occasions to discuss the programming over the next 3 years. We're looking at making sure that will include something that for all ages, not just for high school students, but for mature learners, looking at retraining, reskilling, and things like that. Part of that has been several more Zero Fee meetings and everything to get things going, talking about the alumni, about the future for that, and things like that, meeting with the minister, several library board meetings. We had our quarterly report, so great job, everybody. Thank you for all your hard work. It's very much appreciated. We had a presentation from the RISE team, including Dr. Unger, so that was exciting to kind of see where that's going and everything like that. The library board had hosted part of the Fire and Ice, so we had over 800 people come through the library door, so we were not expecting that at all. I know Donna Wilsey and I were making hot chocolate, and at first it was like just a couple, and then I don't even know, like every time I would lift my head up, there was just a line forever of people, and I don't even know how many hot chocolate or cookies, but I know we ran out several times and had to go to the grocery store, so that was fantastic because we were not expecting 800 people to come through the door. And I think that they at one point had ran out of burgers as well and had to go and repurchase burgers, so that was wonderful to hear. It was such a great success. Had a sustainability committee meeting and a homelessness and poverty reduction committee meeting. And the team will be coming this afternoon to talk about the outcome that we had from the October 2019 workshop that the town had hosted. And yeah, that is it for me.
All right, thank you very much. Councillor Gamana.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thursday, the 16th, had an interview with Rural Health Professionals Action Plan media personnel, like Councillor Dodd mentioned, regarding the Zero Fee Initiative, specifically Healthcare Aid Program, to discuss how the program works and how it will affect healthcare needs of our community. On 11th, attended the fourth quarter report, and again, thank you very much for all the hard work from administration and the town staff. 12th, had another programming meeting with Norquest College to determine programming for the next 3 years. 13th, had a round of discussion with Easy Mile, which is the autonomous transportation service provider, to discuss possibility of having a pilot project in our community as well. 14th, had the opportunity to attend a student welcome event for new Norquest College students organized by Holloway Lodging, Super 8, Drayton Valley. 18th, attended the community dinner sponsored by Life Church, very well attended. Over 400 had a fabulous supper. This is my first community supper after Drayton Valley Community Foundation took over. Kudos to them and the sponsors continuing this great community event into the future. Thank you very much. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a quiet time, and we did have our fourth quarter report, as Councillor Dodds mentioned. And I do want to point out that my saying that I referenced in that was grossly taken out of context. And so if anyone thought it was anything other than in reference to contract negotiations, then I'm sorry. You need to you need to get your head out of the gutter. But so let's point that out first and foremost. On the 12th, we had Dr. Unger and his RISE team come to Drayton Valley. So we spent a couple of hours and had an excellent lunch, getting updates as to the trip to Secunda and just some of the updates in the project overall. I believe we're in year 3 of 5 of the project, and they're looking to gather more information. And we'll be in our community for a little bit longer. And they do have some preliminary, reports that they presented, and they're hoping to just kind of further build on that as the research continues. On the 18th, I had a Skype meeting, if you can believe it. It was on Skype. Unfortunately, there's only myself and our MLA, Mark Smith, that could get our cameras to work. So it was him and I looking at each other while everyone else was just over the... they were staring at us. It was just talking about advanced education and how that complements our secondary education assets in our community, and how possibly the priorities of secondary education don't line up with the UCP's mandates on advanced education. So we did have the chief of staff for the advanced education minister there taking notes, and I believe there will be a follow-up call sometime soon. I think it's in my calendar. Also on the 18th, I did get a haircut. And after that, with my fresh haircut, we did have some exciting meetings regarding to economic development, and I'm sure they will continue to move forward, and we'll be able to update the community once we have something a little bit more solid, or not. We'll see how it goes, but it was an interesting time. So things continue to move forward, and it's 2020 is a new year, and we all look forward to the benefits that the new year can bring, and I feel very confident that our community is going to see some excellent progress in 2020, not only driven by the municipally elected political leaders, but our administration and all of our members of our community. Have been hearing a lot of great things of people kind of thinking outside the box and taking their businesses to different levels. So we'll look forward to 2020 and on. So with that, I will conclude my report and move to information items. 9.1, Drayton Valley RCMP stats, January 2020. 9.2, Drayton Valley Brazeau County Fire Service stats, January 2020. 9.3, Sustainability Committee meeting notes, January 17th, 2020. Can I get a counselor to make a motion to accept those information? Counselor Wheeler, all in favor? That is carried. We will adjourn our meeting at 10:47. And